All right, some big breaking news literally in the last couple of minutes. Dillian Whyte, it says here, has returned an adverse analytical finding, I should say, in a Vada test, in a Vada drug test. So the Anthony Joshua rematch, which is going to happen this day week, has now been cancelled. Eddie Hearn released a statement here. So it says, August the 5th, 2023, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, Vada, informed Matchroom, the Association of Boxing Commission and the British Boxing Board of Control that Dillian Whyte had returned an adverse analytical finding as part of a random anti-doping protocol. In light of the news, the fight will be cancelled and a full investigation will be conducted. Further information on the event will follow. So the fight, from what I'm gathering here, is cancelled. Is the whole show down the Swanee? Do they have, maybe will Anthony Joshua still fight and it will just be a replacement opponent? I do not know. And again, this is literally in the last 10 minutes. This statement was released by Eddie Hearn 11 minutes ago. So it has only just come to the forefront now. But very, 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 I was going to say unfortunate, but obviously if there is anything, if look, a lot of people would say, and I agree, that the overwhelming majority of fighters are on something, but I know some people would say if that's the case, then what's the point in drug testing? And you can kind of, I'm not going to go into a debate with that, but you can kind of see where they're coming from. But Dillian Whyte, Vada have said adverse findings, so this rematch has been cancelled. Will the card go ahead? Will they draft in another opponent for Anthony Joshua? I do not know. Eddie Hearn is saying more information to follow further, so we'll talk about it more in depth there. In terms of Dillian Whyte, I mean, Dillian Whyte failed a test, I believe it was UCAD, back in 2012, I think it was, and that was for an over-the-counter supplement, Jack 3D, which you can still get. But I remember at the time that Jack 3D, I never tried it myself, but I remember at the time that a lot of people were telling me about that and saying that it's really good. Like, really, really, really good. You can get it anywhere, and you can still buy it now, but apparently it's nowhere near as good as it was way back then. So I mean, make it out what you will. He obviously served a 2-year ban for that. I think it was 2 years anyway. And prior to the ban, Dillian Whyte was a lot more shredded. He definitely looked a lot more, obviously he'd filled out a bit, but he definitely looked a lot more fleshy subsequent since the ban. Obviously there was the Oscar Rivas situation where, again, I believe that was UCAT, and that situation left a lot of people with a lot more questions than answers. And now we have this. Now this is Vada. And what's interesting here is that Vada have informed Eddie Hearn about this, and instantly they've taken action. When it was the Conor Benn situation, remember, they tried their best, and Sauerland, you have to hold Sauerland account as well, because they tried it as well, to have that fight go ahead. I'm wondering, with the backlash that Hearn and Sauerland received, obviously Sauerland are part of this technically because Hrgovic is their fighter, have they decided, right, let's just bin this rematch because we're not going to try and go ahead with this if there's anything like this hanging over it. He said more info on the event, so obviously we just know that the rematch is cancelled. So Dillian Whyte won't get an Anthony Joshua fight, he won't get that payday. We don't know what's going to happen. Will Joshua fight? Will he not? Will the card go ahead? Will they take it off pay-per-view? Which they really should. If they do the card still, and let's say Joshua is fighting Gerald Washington, let's just hypothetically, I'm not saying it, but let's say hypothetically, they should take it off pay-per-view and put it on Santa's Zone, and they should refund anyone who's paid for it. In terms of the whole card itself, if there is no Joshua, again, obviously it won't be on pay. I would imagine it wouldn't be on pay-per-view anyway, but God knows. So look, that's the situation. Obviously there's more news to follow on this, so I'm only all I can really do here is report on it. There's no use going into trying to go into detail and try and dissect it because we don't know that much. It's only been the adverse analytical findings, so it's not like they're coming out and saying he's tested positive for this substance or this substance. So we really don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. With Dillian Whyte, obviously this has happened before. Obviously, well, technically he's not failed, but this has happened before with him having issues with drug testing. in the past. So is it really that much of a surprise? I mean, answers on a postcard there for that one. But that is the situation here. Obviously, we are going to follow this very, very closely. I want to see what further statement Eddie Hearn releases on this event. As it stands now, we're not getting Joshua versus Whyte 2, the rematch. So I was actually going to do 3 reasons why Dillian Whyte wins today. I was actually going to get recording that video in the next hour or so. So you've saved me a bit of time. I don't know what to do in the email. Well, I've got to be. This is how entertaining Saturdays are. I'm going to be sitting around waiting for further updates on this to talk about it in further videos, because that's what I do. But I'd rather be doing that than drinking alcohol and stuff like that. So make it out what you will. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. Are you disappointed in the fact that you were looking forward to the rematch? Is it strange that this has been instantly cancelled? Like, not the whole card, but apparently not the whole card, but the fight has been instantly pulled. Considering there was all that rigmarole with the Ben situation, which was, that was Ben obviously failed before the Eubank Jr. fight was announced. It was never reported, and then obviously subsequently again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Everyone has been informed, the British Boxing Board of Control, everyone in this situation. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and we will wait for further news on this. We can talk about it more when we have a bit more in-depth info, because we're just saying it's a finding, an adverse finding, for want of a better word. We've not been told that anything has gone dramatically wrong, but adverse findings in the past have led to fights being pulled. We've seen that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hope you enjoy it, people. Smash the like button as always. Your boy is first when it comes to the news. I get that stuff out there quick. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.